In just 4 months, we were able to transform our Gorilla Platoon member from literally having a dad bod to the point of having a top 1% physique. Now, in this video, we're going to teach you how you are going to be able to do the same with our Gorilla Platoon methods. Now, I will cut straight to the chase with this. The first and the main reason that you do not have the physique you desire is not simply down to your knowledge, it is down to your application and your mindset. The knowledge is out there. Knowledge out there at a click of a finger, you know how to get to 10% body fat. That is not your issue. Your issue is your mindset, and we must fix that first. So, whenever a Gorilla Platoon member starts with us, the first thing I instill in him is some arrogant zest. He must believe that with enough time and effort, he can achieve anything in life. You could become a fucking astronaut, a brain surgeon, a doctor, a pilot, whatever it is. With enough time and effort, you could achieve whatever it is you desire in life. The same goes for building an aesthetic physique. Building an aesthetic physique is not that hard. It really isn't. But the application and the mindset is the main reason people will not do this. So, behind closed doors, what I want you to start doing is gassing yourself up. In the mirror, you must look at yourself and believe that you are the best thing since sliced bread. No one is better than you. If it has been achieved by another human being, you will be able to achieve it. Because there is absolutely zero benefit to putting yourself down in front of others, by yourself. There is no benefit whatsoever to doing this. I want you to do the opposite. Now, I don't want you to walk around being arrogant to other people. However, behind closed doors, I want you hyping yourself up. I want you getting into a good, solid mental space where you believe you can achieve something. Because you can. Because no one is special. I'm not special. You're not special. The people at the top are not special. They just believed that they could do and achieve something, and they went and did it. You can have exactly the same thing. The moment you wake up and decide and think, right, enough is enough, let's actually go and get after life and go and take what we want, you'll be surprised at how quick it all starts to fall into place for you. But it starts with having the arrogant zest that you can achieve whatever it is you set your mind to. That's the first thing I instill within Gorilla Platoon members. Leads me on to the second point. You are where you are in life right now because of your own doing. And if you can find a reason as to why that's not true, it is still your responsibility to fix that issue. Now, why I like this is because although it sounds quite pessimistic, it actually gives you full control and capacity to change things. It means that as long as you accept the responsibility, then ultimately you can do something about it. And try to frame that in any situation which you are not happy with or has caused you pain. Because it is there for a reason, and if you can frame it in the right direction, it's going to propel you forward. But a lot of people will offset blame, will complain about things, will blame other people, and not do anything about it because it's easy to complain. It's easy to blame other people, and it's easy to not do something about it. However, you get one life, so take accountability and start moving forward. The last thing I instill in them is we must recreate your character. Your character got you to where you are right now, which is a resemblement of your physique. Your physique is an exact resemblement of your thoughts and your habits and how you act on a day-to-day basis. So if you're not happy with that, it's not your overall physique's point. It's not his fault. It's your brain's fault because it got you to this point. It got you to eat the junk food consistently without moving enough, without training enough, and falling into bad habits. So what we must understand is the brain you have right now is not capable of becoming the individual that you want to become. You must recreate your character, and every Gorilla Platoon member that joins will do this exact practice. We have a lecture called the How to Create 2.0 version of you and a documentation practice that they go through. Because it's important that you have this North Star. You want to achieve a fantastic result, get a top 1% physique, you must fix this first. Because if your brain was fine, if your thoughts were fine, you would already have it. You wouldn't be watching this video on how to get one. You would already have it. So we must fix that first. We must recreate your character. And don't see this as a bad thing. See this as you now adopting the mindset of someone that has already achieved it, rewalking the path that they have done, so you can do the same thing for yourself. So the practice is going to go as follows. You're going to create a document. You can even find a picture of a physique that you like. Can be a role model of yours. You're going to write down your new character's typical day in their life. You're also going to write out a timetable of how they would live their life. You're going to write down the affirmations they would say, leading on to the first point we said about gassing yourself up behind closed doors. What would he be saying to himself? You're going to write down 3 of his values / ethos, and then you're going to live in accordance with that. Now, it's going to take a little bit of time, it's going to take a little bit of work to do this, but get a coffee, sit down, map this out, because as soon as you create the North Star and the roadmap of where you need to go to with the day-to-day micro habits, you have the North Star, the path's going to illuminate as you walk it, and you're going to get to the result. Don't do this. Try and do this with your old mindset, and like always, you will make progress for 2 weeks and you'll snap back to that original version of you, because your identity will get challenged, it will feel painful and uncomfortable, and you'll do what you always have done and what you know. Not because that's what you want to do, it's just because that's what the brain recognizes. So trust me when I say, if you found any form of credibility ever after watching any of my videos, fix this first and you will get the result. Pay lip service to this and don't do it, and you will constantly snap back and forth from the old to the new to the old version of you. So that's the very first thing you must do in order to get this level of a result. Now, that's the mindset and the principles, which are absolutely mission critical, but of course, we can't just think our way to 10% body fat, there is actions to take as well. So let's get into your plan and set you up. Now, I did make a video on how to calculate your body fat at home, in which you can tag and watch that after. But for now, let's say all I want you to do is make sure you've weighed yourself, you've taken your progress photos, and then you have found out your maintenance level of calories, which can be done from a calorie calculator online. Now from there, we're going to piece together your macros. First of all, we're going to set your protein target. So your protein target is going to be set to either one of two metrics. If you're starting out to a similar point as the Gorilla Platoon member here, you can go off 1 gram per pound of weight, 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein. If you're starting out at 30% body fat or high body fat, go off your height in centimeters. Now, your calorie target is going to be set to 20% fats, of obviously the overall target, and the rest is going to be filled with carbohydrates. When it comes to setting the overall calorie target, by the way, you're going to find your maintenance and you're going to sit below it by 200 calories. That is going to be your starting calories with how to work out the macros. When it comes to the foods you eat, you're going to need to go in a deficit, therefore fiber and volume are going to be your biggest friends. This means you have potato instead of rice, it means you have oats instead of cream of rice or bread, it means you have berries instead of bananas. We pack this out with fiber. Of course, you have vegetables as well, because that's going to add a lot of fiber. Now, when it comes to training, one thing that people fail, I think, to mention is that when we're looking to build muscle in the gym, we're not looking to globally move loads from A to B. What we're looking to do is stretch and shorten the working muscle under load. So let's say you're training your chest with dumbbells. You're going to start at the top, you're going to come down 3, 2, 1. Slow and controlled, good tempo. You're going to pause at the bottom, and then you're going to drive back up. You're going to make sure that you go for a full range of motion where the hands come in line with the chest. But most importantly, you're going to make sure you stretch and shorten the working muscle. If the chest starts by the sternum, runs across the rib cage, inserts onto the upper arm, you're going to make sure every time you press, you pull your upper arm away from the center of the body and also drive it towards the midline of the body, converging it back across. Think of bringing the origin and the insertion of the muscle together, not just moving the load from A to B. If you move the load from A to B globally, you'll use everything within your power to push the load up, rather than press and contract your chest to get the load to move. When it comes to your training split, it will depend on how long you have been training. If you've been training for 6 months, go to a 3-day full body split. Been training for a year, go to a 4-day full body push, full body pull times 2 split. Been training for 18 months to 2 years, go for push, pull, legs, rest day, chest and back, delts and arms, second rest day. If you're 2 to 3 turns of the wheel in this and you've got weaker areas, then sculpt your training split around those weaker areas to bring those up. Ensure you are training the main muscle groups twice per week, along with distributed volume to higher volume towards 20 sets per week for the weaker areas and towards 10 for the stronger areas that you've got within your physique. This is what we did for him, and we were able to create a nice balanced physique. Now, when it comes to dropping body fat, your biggest weapon of choice is going to be through cardio, not from pulling from food. If we pull from food too quickly, the metabolism will adapt to whatever we do to it. There may be a little bit of a delay, but it will adapt to it. And then ultimately, you're stuck. So if you go too low with food too early, you're not going to get the response you're after, and then ultimately you're never going to get down towards the goal. So I want you to start using output. You're going to do 20 minutes of daily cardio. You're going to keep your heart rate at 120 to 130. You're going to do it on something that's non-impact, so it doesn't accumulate fatigue. This is going to be an incline treadmill walk, or a cross trainer, or maybe a bike. And when you don't see a drop off on the scale, you're then going to increase the cardio to 30 minutes per day, then to 40 minutes per day. Now, you may get to the point where the trade-off is routine versus more cardio. When that happens, then you have my blessing to pull from food. What do you pull at first? At the 3 macronutrients, which would be give us the most leverage. Wouldn't want to be protein. That's ultimately there to repair damage that you've added to the tissue. Carbs are there to drive performance in the gym, and by the way, your ability to build or to execute on the gym floor is the main reason you will build or retain muscle tissue. So fats are going to be your go-to metric to pull from. That's why we started you on 20% of fats. So if you were to pull fats and you were to pull off, let's say, 30 grams of peanut butter or 30 grams of dark chocolate, that's best part of 200 calories. 30 grams of peanut butter or 30 grams of dark chocolate, tiny in your hand. Low volume, high calorie. They want to come out first because it's not going to affect your appetite as much. Whereas if we pulled out high voluminous foods and 200 calories worth of that, the overall meal is going to look very, very small. This is going to make adherence harder. We don't want adherence to be harder. It's going to be hard enough when I'm dragging you through the trenches. You want to eat your own arm, and I'm making you go and do another 30 minutes of daily cardio. Ask any Gorilla Platoon member. This is what has to happen in order to get to that level of leanness. So let's not make this any harder than it needs to be. So at this point there, you are going through your transformation. You're tracking, recording your loads, you're training hard in the gym, you're executing as spoken about. Your scale weight's dropping. When it's not, you make those changes, and you're also tracking and recording all the other metrics. The only other thing I want you to focus on as you're going through your transformation is your ability to manage your fatigue. You will feel fatigued. You will get tired. That is normal. You're doing 10k steps per day. You're doing 20 minutes plus of cardio. You're training 5 days a week. You will get fatigued. One of the biggest things people will pay lip service to is they will not sleep enough. You don't sleep enough, you're not going to be able to manage the fatigue. You're in a calorie deficit. Do not put yourself in a sleep deficit and then still expect to perform the next day. A minimum 8 hours sleep each and every night, but ideally give yourself the time. Give yourself the time to be in bed for a lot longer so you can sleep whatever your body requires and needs. This is going to keep fatigue down. When fatigue is kept down, cortisol is lower. When cortisol is lower, you don't hold excess water weight. When you don't hold excess water weight, it doesn't give you it keeps your scale weight readings consistent because you're not holding water weight, and likewise it keeps the visuals tight and hard as you're going through week on week. This is going to keep motivation up for 2 reasons. 1, you are just physically less tired, less fatigued, and 2, it's not masking the data and the progress that you are making. If I didn't mention this before, make sure you are tracking your scale weight daily and your photos every week. Do not have some form of emotional attachment to the scale. It's just a fucking number on a scale, alright? Don't make a big deal of this. It's just a data point. Like, you know how much money you got in your bank and there's no emotional attachment to that. The same goes for your scale weight. It's something that's going to move anyway. So the more data points you have, the more consistent your ability to make decisions and changes to the plan are going to be. Do not pay lip service to this trap. Track every day your scale weight so you know when to make changes. If you don't drop that kilogram across the week, turn the dial, add more cardio, drop it off from there. Now, you may at some point need to run a refeed. If you find you are very depleted, go and watch my video on you must get flat to get lean. But let's say you're very depleted, you've been on plan for around 8, 9, 10 weeks. You're flat as a pancake, your gym floor performance is starting to diminish, and overall you look quite soft where the muscle is not pushing tight against the skin, so you feel a bit soft. That's normal, by the way. You do need to get flat to get lean, and I would advise you go and watch that video. With this, we can then run what's known as a high carb day. This is where we will replenish glycogen with a C, glycogen. The amount of times I've been abused for the way I say glycogen, it's just my accent. Glycogen, fine. The amount of times I've been abused. Do you know what? I'm happy you abused me because now I can actually say the word properly, so thank you. We must replenish glycogen. So what we're going to do is take your scale weight, take off your body fat percentage at the time. That scale weight times by 8 is the amount of grams of carbs you're going to eat within that given day of the refeed. You're going to bring your protein down by half to make room for these extra carbs that go in so the refeed is not drastically higher than it needs to be. You're going to assess your scale weight the morning before, the morning after, visuals before, visuals after, with a training session as well. And you're going to have 6 grams of pink salt, which is going to help with the pump in the gym as well. At this point, you've filled yourself up. That'll last 14 days till you're flat again. You may need to run this over twice until you actually have the look that you desire. And then at that point, you have that top 1% physique. But it all started with living incongruent with the athlete lifestyle, the 2.0 version of you. the version of you that is capable of being at B. If you want to go from A to B, do not try and take that route. Already act like the guy at B, and you will become the athlete, you will become the individual, and you will get the six-pack. If you want me to do this for you, there'll be a link in the description. Press through, go and see if we're for you, and then I'll see you on the inside of the Gorilla Platoon, ready to get your transformation started. If you found this video of value, great, subscribe to the channel, and of course, I'll see you tomorrow.